So you probably wish I had a dry erase board, but we'll get through this. Oh crap. Didn't work. It paused and then restarted. Dang it. Okay, well, we're looking at the text, words that are especially forced or odd. We have the letter X that stands out. I would expect more than just Xmas out of this. Games, there's always relations to games. I think one of the only ones online people found was Chutes and Ladders. There's a ton of games in the maze. You have the Monopoly piece here, the hat. You have the Saints, St. Charles and St. James from the Monopoly board. You have the polar bear, so I would look for things relating, besides Santa Claus, to the North Pole, things with snow, things in the Arctic, etc. There's always things to find that are red. If you've read the entire book of Maze, you know it talks about being blind is no handicap. You have to hear the sounds of the maze, so you're listening to words, but you're also tying in songs and colors. You see the word appeared and assured both have the word red. Roaring has R-I-N-G, the word ring that may come into play. Wish to and to hang, there's two examples of the word hot. I already mentioned the word pond, so that doesn't seem that important now. It's not overall big. It just helps when you find an answer and that answer relates to pond, then you know it's correct rather than just your imagination. The word leap, leaps out, and the word ready has the word day, leap day. You have the word before, F-O-R-E, 4 plus 20. Rather than the V, I would count the 5 capital I's as ones. So you would 25 plus 4, 29. Doesn't really matter, but you get the point, is that he's hinting towards leap day as well as Christmas Day. The number 2 is everywhere. A pair of dice, the P-E-A-R. You call them a pair of scissors. Usually you would have a pair of salt and pepper shakers, but here we have a pepper grinder, so that is not an actual pair. Some people say that's a reason to pick door 4. I would look a little deeper. Savage contains the word age, and of course we have the word wish. So looking at a birthday party, people who like birthdays on the 4th of July, takes 4 years to get to your first birthday. 5 years, I'd cross that out. I wasn't sure. I was trying to think of why he specifically put the number 5 there, but I think there are 5 people you need to figure out who are on this page in the maze. I can get most of their names by the conclusion, but it's relatively simple once you get all the clues together. There is the Beatles song, birthday, of course, and I consider St. John and St. Paul tie in with the Beatles. We mentioned Peter already. St. Peter's Square was a big find, I think, to really help you see you're looking for square root. I got one more page that we're going to look at. Another thing that he deals with a lot in the maze is sports teams. Sports teams are big because they have a lot of animal mascots, a lot of names that he wants to tie in. But you're always looking for things with double letters, and that a number of answers will contain double letters. I'm going to give one of them today. So sports teams, the Chicago Bears, that's easy to see. You might think of the Chicago song, 25 or 6 to 4. So there you have your two options, 25 or 4. You have the St. Louis Cardinals, that's a red bird. But you also have the hockey team, the St. Louis Blues. And from the Blues, you have lots of music again from the Blues. So I would try to think of that. The St. Louis Blues team was named after a song called St. Louis Blues. There's also on some pages a lot of different types of lines that comes from the first page. So with hockey, you have the blue line. With the polar bear, you might have a frost line. If you're just searching for lines on each page, something may hit you. Pair of dice, that's pretty simple as far as a sound-alike riddle, paradise. You have the bird of paradise. If you're looking for animals and birds, there is the elephant bird, extinct, but you can Google that. Another bird is the St. Helena waxbill. When you look at the bear, you need to think of bunches of other bears. Smokey the Bear, Winnie the Pooh, there's your double N, double O. Baloo from Jungle Book, Gentle Ben. From Gentle Ben, you might think of Big Ben, clock, because when you talk about things that are red, you had the jackets hanging up, the coats. Red coats is British, so you have red coats, and you can make Big Ben the clock out of that. Another saint, Saint Bernard, and you might say, well, that's just one thing to do with dog. But when you say hang up, you look at the letters, P-U-G, there's another dog, Pug. So we have two dogs. Therefore, you would try to think of other dogs, like Lady and the Tramp. Perhaps you might think of a famous Saint Bernard that might come to mind as a big clue. Opening, P-E-N, you have penguin. There's a number of things in the maze that are red, green on every page. Black and white is a theme that repeats itself. Black and white, you would have a penguin. In the text, will we, sounds, you have the beginning of W-I-L-L, Chilly Willy, he's a cartoon penguin. We mentioned Wally the walrus. His companion was Tennessee Tuxedo, another penguin. Polar bear, from the word made, you have M-A-D. This is a bit of a riddle dealing with a polar bear. If you have a mad polar bear, does that mean he is bipolar? Seeing that we're using the word two all over this page, bipolar bear. I don't really care that much about the riddles, but sometimes they just hit you in the face. Assured them, you see the word ED and then T, Ted, teddy bear. So there's another page where you have a teddy bear, but it comes to mind here, and then when you see the teddy bear, you probably, if you didn't think of Winnie the Pooh on this page, you'll think of it as that page 2 that has the little bear. Also Tusk. Tusk may lead you to a team, the Tuskegee Golden Tigers. And as soon as you link a tiger, you're going to start thinking of other tigers like Tony the Tiger, Tigger, Sir Khan from Jungle Book, and then you're going to look to see if any of those animals are hinted at on this page. We'll get back to Tony the Tiger because he is there on the page hidden. And a riddle, we're talking about stuffed animals. Another riddle is, if you stuff a tiger, what will you get? You will get a bigger Tigger. Again, double letters adding up. To me, that's a side issue, the riddles. Scissors, you may think of the Barber of Seville. Cartoons that are everywhere. So the cartoon is called Rabbit of Seville, double letters. When you think of the word elephant, you might recall this line from Inception. What do you think of? You're supposed to think of pink elephants. It was in the movie Dumbo as well as Fantasia. Pink rhymes with the word think, so it's the first color you think of generally. That's the incorrect answer for Inception, but on this, pink elephant will make you think of the Pink Panther, and that ties in with either a red ant or a blue anteater. Blue is not a double letter the way green is, so you might think of green. If you don't think of it right away, you might think of the word llama, 2 L's, but there is a green llama. It's a comic, but it only has 1 L, so that is not the answer. However, there is a green aardvark, and that has 2 E's, 2 A's. He was on the Pink Panther. There's 2 episodes where the blue aardvark's cousin is on the show. He is a green aardvark, but also, and you can Google this, there's a college, UCI, I think it's University of California, Irving campus. Their mascot is also known as the green aardvark, but his nickname is Peter the Anteater. So there you're connecting Peter, the animals that started with the elephant and double letters, green aardvark. So that is one of the things you're looking at for the animals. Also for fish, you have the St. Peter's fish. You might Google that, you'll find that. There's a few other, is there 1 or 2 other saints? St. Paul is Minneapolis. St. Paul is called the Twin Cities, and again, 2 twins are on this page I mentioned. St. Pauli beer was next to St. Paul's Cathedral in a little town in Germany. That's why they call it St. Pauli beer. And there is also, since you have 2, you have St. Paul III, who was a pope. So a few saints, a lot of ends not completely tied up, but we're going to tie up some things. What you need to look for now before you go to part 2 would be to find classic books, stories, films, songs, anything that will tie in with some of the words and clues we uncovered. I hope you can make some sense of this and or at least listen to the key answers in our next video. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope this gets you started thinking of maize in some new ways. Thank you. Bye.